Alright everyone, here we are with igneous rocks. We said we wanted to classify these even further into some subcategories for each of the rock families. So we're going to start off with igneous rock.
Well, igneous rock is formed from liquid, hot magma. Magma is something that's beneath the ground, comes out as lava. When it crystallizes, it makes these igneous rocks. Different types of magma make different kinds of rocks, different colors, different textures. We're going to talk about all those things.
Okay, so there's two ways that igneous rocks can form. They can form inside the earth if the lava cools there, or it can cool outside. So if it was outside, what would you call that?
So when I go out, I go through an exit. So I might call those kinds of rocks extrusive igneous rocks.
So for extrusive igneous rocks, those are ones that cool on the surface. They cool quickly. They're very, very fine grained. What we mean by that is that there are very small crystals in them. So when you look at an igneous rock that was cooled outside in the exterior of the Earth's surface, that's one of the features you can find.
You can look at one of those actually. This guy here is called Obsidian. It doesn't have, well, really any grain formation at all. It cooled so quickly it didn't have time for any crystals to form. And so it's really, really smooth, like glass.
So then the opposite of exterior would be?
Interior, or intrusive igneous rocks.
So intrusive igneous rocks are ones that cool beneath the Earth's surface, and they were going to cool a lot slower.
Yeah, and when they cool slowly like that, they form crystals. This is granite, and granite, if you look at this, definitely has crystals that are forming in this rock, and that is an example of a rock that's cooled slowly and had time to form those, an intrusive igneous rock.
So two ways, intrusive, extrusive, and the grain size really is what kind of gives that away. And another way that we can actually classify them, besides their grain size, is really the color of those rocks. We can have what we call felsic rocks or mafic rocks.
Right. Well, felsic rocks have a lot of something called silica in them. When a rock is high in silica, it's lighter in color. You can see a couple of them here, and you have something with a little less silica in it, like these intermediate rocks, which are, this is scoria and granite again. And then you have some darker grain rocks like the Obsidian, which has hardly any silica, if any, in it at all, and takes on a really dark color.
So really the dark color comes from more iron and magnesium mixed in these rocks than the lighter colors like the quartz and the feldspars.
Right.
So we've got intrusive, extrusive, we've got mafic, felsic, and one last thing we can do to kind of categorize them is look at their grain size, meaning how big are the crystals inside of those rocks. Three of the fine grain, the really, really small grains, we define those as clay size, silt size, or sand size particles, and I'm giving you some rough estimations on the size of those actual particles there. They cool very, very quickly. So, if I look at this and I say, that looks like it has very, very small crystals, I don't have to say it's exactly silt, sand, or clay size. I can just say these are very fine grained.
Gabbro here is a coarser grain rock. You can actually see flat faces in this that make up the different crystals, and I can definitely look at that and call that a coarse grained rock, which consists of anything that's larger than sand size, such as gravel, cobble, or boulder.
So when you look at it, igneous rock, one thing you want to know is, hey, was it formed inside or outside? Was it intrusive or extrusive? Another thing you want to know is its coloring. That tells you the chemical composition of the igneous rock. Is it mafic or felsic? And if you look at the grain size can actually tell you whether it was cooled inside or outside as well.
Yes.
So when you look at an igneous rock, there are kind of three different ways we can categorize them into specific subsections of the family of the fire rock.
Sounds good to me.
All right, we'll see you next time.